if all the memories of this migration is only about sadness, how about the other days you have to, like, the Syria people is already here. It's 2015 that they came, now it's 2016. What are they experiencing? How the daily life in here? What are local? Everyone say they are local, but I'm not sure about this word. Because love is powerful. You can never say yourself is pure brother or whatever. And
also, this is some of the questions that your work from Landskrona will be about, that you are presenting as the immigrants from Syria to Landskrona.
Because all of you is more knowledgeable about what's happening in your country. Syrian people is coming to Europe, not coming to Asia, you know. It is you have the solution more than me. So what I'm trying to say is the daily life you have here, how you see the refugees around you. As I already said, my father is a swimmer, and from that time, Hong Kong is a very poor fishing village. To become an international city, it is not only the planning of the British government. It is much more about the tears and blood of all the swimmers. Even the most richest people in Hong Kong, they are once swimmers just because they succeeded. The others drowned in the water. So they are equal. They need to be remembered. It is not just because the Great Britain planning had the same copy in Hong Kong. So okay. So my graduation work is something about moving from one room to another room. Imagine a refugee who has to leave his home and then find another home and spend almost all his daily life in this specific room. If we understand this concept, when we go to travel, we look for a hotel room from your home, the room of your home, then you will understand the stress of this finding of another room for your specific and accommodate neck body, because you are not protected by your citizenship anymore. You only have your body. How your body from one place to another place. It is very easy to be understood. It is not about the cultural difference that you ignore the stress of these people. So this room, there's some scratches on the wall. It's about the very strong emotion, because you see the scratch could only made by industrial machine. Some emotions in the heart of those refugees is very hard to tell you, but you know yourself clear that you are arrogant. It's the same that these people is arrogant, because he is looking for justice and fair. If you do something for them, if you do it in a way of charity, that will make them feel themselves inferior. Okay. So there's some questions about the project. Actually, the questions is the project I write for this program to apply.
So these are the questions that you wrote. Okay. Are these questions that you have been working with also?
Yes. So
earlier and now also.
Yes, earlier and now.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's about how we understand a daily life, like sleeping. When we see some beggar on the streets, we see them sleeping on the streets, right? Even in daytime. Imagine how a beggar works. They do not work like Hong Kong people, very hard, like doing some heavy jobs. You know, they're collecting food and so on, and sleep sitting there. Why they sleep so long? What the inspiration is that it is a kind of escape from the reality. Because I'm always alone. I talk with them because they're sitting in front of supermarket, and I ask if they're very tired, so they want to sleep, and then they say no, I just want to sleep. When no one's in the supermarket at night, then I'm fully awake. I'm okay. I'm good. But in the daytime, with many people, they choose to sleep. So what sleep, this daily life behavior tell us more. It is very easy to understand their mentality, right? Isn't it?
Their mentality in relation to what? The sleeping pattern or the
understanding of these people who is alienated from the society. Why? It is because of us, you know. If our people is perfectly supported by the family, why do they will be in the streets? Even with people with mental illness, why they have this? Because we are crazy, you know.
Yeah, I think what you mean is, because we spoke about it earlier, is that because we're all humans, we understand and know this, but we still alienate them.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we alienate them like we cannot understand them.
Yes.
They have mental problem.
But it's something we choose. No? That's how you mean.
Yes.
We choose to.
That's a very good word.
Yes.
We choose
to not act even though we understand.
Yes.
Yes. That's how you mean.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Yes. Okay. The understanding of time that I've talked about the childhood, right? In the first at work. And we all know the Syrian people have a lot of quantity. Number is the very young kids. It is a very important time for them to feel justice and fair. Because if they grow up feeling the whole world owed them, O-W-E, I don't know how to pronounce this word. Okay, so if they feel the society have something didn't give them fair or justice, the whole society have to give so much more after they grow up.
So what do you think? Because you have met and spoken to.
Because it's happened in Hong Kong.
Yeah. Ah, okay. So it's happened. So you feel left out. You haven't gotten the things that you should have gotten in.
When I was young.
Yeah, sort of. Then you're talking about negative liberties or just fairness and justice and being treated like everyone else.
Yes.
Yes. And so there's a sort of bitterness that grows in you, and then you demand more.
Yes, I was labeled as new migrant children as when I was in primary school.
Okay.
Because the lifestyle in Hong Kong, for me as a little child to go to primary school, the lifestyle, and my English is bad at that time, and all the kids would tease about my pronunciation. And in Hong Kong is the English education system. Only 5% of the population of young people can go to school, university. Sorry, if your English failed, 95% of them cannot go to the highest rank of the university.
So the Chinese people of Hong Kong, or
no, this is the British education system.
The British education system.
No matter it's from China, no matter it's from British,
so
for the kids, the
so
same.
there's not very many. There's not very many Chinese people, Hong Kong people, going to universities in Hong Kong.
Yes, actually, the main population is still the Hong Kong people, but the bad thing is your English has to be good. But for the new migrant children, it is very hard for them because they learn later than the people was born in Hong Kong.
Okay.
Yes.
And also, so this is what you saw. So I think, did you try to make a point about that it's dangerous for society not to be fair and just because they will grow bigger problems? Is that what you have seen in Hong Kong? If you don't give fairness.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Many of my friends that I met in primary school. They cannot go to university because they have some discrimination when they were young, because of this adolescence of this teenager. If they came across this when in their study, they will give up very quickly. Just close their heart, just stay at home, and work in the 7-Eleven, because Hong Kong is a lot. They're always moving water bottles for the tours, They always do this kind of jobs. And if you ask them about the future, they only have young shoulders. If the young shoulders is going to feel tired, what can they do? They just don't know.
So there's a lot of frustration in Hong Kong, in the society. How does this affect the people and the society? And also, how do you think it's gonna be in Sweden? Could you make comparisons between Sweden, this kind of frustration that will perhaps grow as it did? People get frustrated in Hong Kong.
Mm.
Do you think that kind of frustration will happen also in Sweden
The future of
be
Sweden.
here? Yes.
Okay. Because I know the people is welcome to come here, the refugees, compared to other European countries, and the thing is, from opening the door and this specific time, like last year, is very crucial, right? I'm not sure about this time, at the specific time, how much fair or justice that this large number of young kids have. I mean, this is very important for their whole grow up, and also the prosperity, the fabulous way that Sweden can go. And why I go very detailed the Hong Kong history for this talk is that I want to make a significance on the migrants, how they build up a city, and how they make the transformation about hybridity, because Syria people is not the Western people. They have their own culture. And what they give, a very good example is that Hong Kong is also the Western culture mixed with the Asian culture, with a newborn of new culture hybridity. For the European countries, with the other people come, of course, they will transform into a new culture. That's I'm very in a positive way, that in daily life, if we came across a very young kid with different color than you will know how much he will be in the future, that we need to encourage them, embrace them.
I wanted to ask you this story about your father swimming and your own family history that you have worked with artistically. Is that what drives you in this job you're doing? Because it's difficult and sophisticated job. You have to gather a lot of information. Is it your own history? Is it other stuff that drives you in your ambitions?
The history is very vast, but the specific approach is only me, That's why I say it's not that fabulous as the history. Maybe I can use some daily life photo I took in Landskrona to begin with.
Please.
Yes.
This is the material that you are gathering now.
Yes, they are daily photos I took in Landskrona. And I cannot say if you guys will see it next year with this photo, because I have many, I just picked some of them. Because I also took video. Maybe next year is a video show. I didn't know. So, but you see there's no people in the photo. All my artworks. They are just found materials, and I always avoid making the sufferings of people on the photograph, because we already have enough. You know, how many photos that you need in the newspaper that to arouse your compassion? It is enough, right? So what is I'm trying to do is much more about talking with the audience. You already the people for this exhibition. So in most of my shows is there's no people there. It is about looking what you're looking and to understanding the history of Landskrona. Like this place is by the sea. I asked the people in some shops that where the ship industry was, and then they brought me to there, and I take photos around this specific place. And what I'm thinking about is these people who contribute to Landskrona.
So this is what you're going to make. This is what you're investigating
Yes.
now. So you come from Hong Kong and you're Chinese, and then you now you study in Germany, and now you're here in Sweden. Could you tell us something about how you experienced the cultural differences while working in this area, artistic area? Do people treat you differently? Do you feel like?
I think the people are very, very nice, and it is just sometimes people will not understand why I'm here. Like Landskrona is a small place, and when I'm sitting in the cafe to try to talk with the people, and at last they will ask my phone number. So, but this man could be my grandfather, you know.
Sorry.
Anyway,
It's horrible.
the stereotypes of being a Chinese young lady is if I go out of this theater, I will be just my body. I'm not protected by my citizenships or the education I have.
And this is one of the things we spoke about, because we spoke about being temporary to the land, and you have a theory about that when you are temporary to the land, you're not protected in the same way as if you more belong to the land. You're not protected by a citizenship.
Oh.
Yes.
One very crucial time, yes, thank you, is that when we come to a new place like Syria people, and then they need to look at this land as permanent for them. This psychological change takes time because they need to persuade themselves, okay, here is my home. The other home far away is never can return. So if we are very comfortable to say the most ideal, ultimate place is home, please go home. And this makes them suffer because the home they will see is there, you know. And then this very easy way of promotion of home as an ideal place will make them suffer. Sometimes we are very easy to just skip this thing because we take for granted, and we didn't know these people are very sensitive on this, because the minority is always so sensitive, you know, because their self-conscious is very high, and we need to take extra care for them. That's also what I always thought.
Yes, this is what your work is about. I'm going to ask you one last question, and then we'll have to round this off, and I'll leave some time for the audience to ask questions as well. Next year, you haven't worked very much in photography. You have used old photographs and family photographs. Will we see photography from you next year, you think, in Landskrona? Yes? Okay. Well, we're looking forward to that. And anyone has any questions for Elva? No? Yes, where your exhibition is, but Elva is not exhibiting
no,
this
no,
year.
this year. No.
No, it's correct. It's because she's the art residence of this year here in Landskrona, and she will exhibit next year. So she's here for this speech.